Oh my God. We got to get into this article, man. It seems as if Caitlin Clark has turned down $20 million. $20 million in the WNBA. Y'all acting like y'all can't get a CBA done, turning down all this bread for y'all. Listen, Caitlin, you might need to start accepting some of these bags. You might need to start accepting some of these payments.
NBA Finals. And so I'll leave it there. I mean, I'm just obviously disheartened. I'm a human too. I have a family. I have 2 kids who are devastated by these comments. And so all I'll say is just, it's obviously been.
Greetings and salutations, dear viewers. I've returned with yet another thrilling video. I sincerely appreciate your presence today. Let's get started with today's subject. Something out of the ordinary is happening in the world of professional basketball. And this time, the concern isn't over a missed shot or a lost lead. It originates in the executive suites. The situation dramatically altered when rumors started to surface that Caitlin Clark was set to reject a deal package apparently worth close to $20 million, or at the very least substantially postpone it. We're talking about more than just pay here. We are talking about a fundamental shift in power that has angered WNBA Commissioner Cathy Engelbert and the league's power brokers. For many years, the WNBA has had a great deal of influence over its players. The top talents have been compelled to perform year-round due to historically low compensation, working in Europe or China during the off-season to secure their financial security. The league relied on this desperation to keep the machine running. But it seems that Caitlin Clark declined an offer that would have transformed the lives of 99% of athletes. The glass ceiling of what is expected of a rookie was broken by her comment. This is not just about money, it's about control. Sources claim that the league is in a panic after learning too late that they can't buy Caitlin Clark. She already sits atop a Nike empire. She is adored by millions, and now she has the gall to turn them down. For a commissioner who just signed a $2 contract, hearing the word no is a nightmare. $2 billion media rights deal that was almost entirely reliant on Clark's participation. But in order to understand why this specific rejection is causing such chaos, we need to look at what was really offered and why Clark's choice to leave it was the most damaging thing he could have done to the existing quo. To truly understand the importance of this decision, you have to look at the contract itself. The new unprecedented 3-on-3 league that WNBA players Breanna Stewart and Nafisa Collier created is part of the contract under consideration, though the exact figures might alter. This was not your usual show-up-and-play arrangement. According to rumors, Clark's offer was likened to that of Lionel Messi. That stands for revenue sharing, equity, and an unparalleled salary in women's sports history. Please consider liking this video and subscribing to the channel if you enjoy the material. It may surprise you to learn that almost 92% of visitors have not yet subscribed. Even though it just takes a second and is free, it means the world to us. Have you already subscribed? Fantastic. I sincerely appreciate your help. Let's return to the video now. We are talking about a potential bundle that may have enabled over $10 to $20 million in total value creation over time, when combined with a marketing effort. The unmatched league was established to keep WNBA players at home during the off-season by paying them enough to keep them from risking injury in overseas leagues. To make it work, though, they need the golden goose. Caitlin Clark is indispensable. Without her, the league would be reduced to a collection of all-stars. With her, it's a global phenomenon. The organizers reportedly provided her everything, with the exception of the building's keys. They expected a quick signature. After all, who turns down that kind of equity? When Clark's camp declined the offer, the basketball world fell silent. There was an overwhelming silence. By declining to commit, Clark denied the fledgling league its most important marketing asset. With this flex, she showed that she valued her time more than their money. The unmatched league needs her legitimacy in order to get its own massive TV agreements and sponsorships. By declining to sign immediately, Clark showed that her brand is strong enough to stand alone. She doesn't need to join a startup league in order to stay relevant. She is crucial to the survival of the fledgling league. There were further reasons why the front office started to spiral. Now, why is WNBA Commissioner Cathy Engelbert supposedly so upset over a transaction that theoretically involves a rival league? Because in the world of sports today, everything is intertwined. A record $2. The WNBA just signed an 11-year, $2 billion media rights deal. That number is incredible when compared to previous purchases. And let's be honest, that valuation would not exist in the absence of the Caitlin Clark effect. The network spent that amount of money because viewers expect to see number 22 on their screens as much as possible. If Clark chooses not to play over the winter, or worse, if this choice suggests that she intends to take a break and manage her workload, the WNBA is in jeopardy. The league's expansion plan needs to make the most of Clark's prominence. They need her in the news cycle for 12 months out of the year. If she decides to take a 4-month hiatus to retreat, rest, listen to music, and recover, the momentum slows. The angry reaction from the front office is due to a loss of control. They are used to athletes who are in desperate need of care. Clark is the total opposite. She is overexposed and knows that scarcity creates value. In the music business, Engelbert is under a lot of pressure to get ratings. We saw what happened during the Olympic break. There was less discussion about the WNBA while Clark wasn't playing. If Clark decides to utilize her off-season only for training and vacation, the WNBA will forfeit its free marketing tool. The commissioner wants a return on their investment and is aware that ESPN, Amazon, and NBC are partners. Although Caitlin Clark benefits from her seclusion and arrest, the entire content business suffers as a result. The financial reality check that comes in at this time embarrasses the league leadership even more. To understand the degree of confidence required to turn down an 8-figure offer, you have to look at the bank account. According to reports, Caitlin Clark signed a $28 million, 8-year contract with Nike. The agreement includes incentives and a signature sneaker, which likely increases the worth even further. Her yearly pay from a single deal surpasses most WNBA players' lifetime earnings. This forget-you money changes the connection. Most NFL rookies begin their careers living paycheck to paycheck or, at the absolute least, contract to contract. All appearances, subsidiary leagues, and sponsorships have to be approved. Clark entered the league as the CEO of her own business. The WNBA pays her $76,000, which is essentially petrol money. There has been a rounding mistake. She is already financially comfortable, so the WNBA and its affiliated leagues cannot entice her to dance by holding money in front of her. This irritates the establishment. Usually, the leash is money. If you finish this media trip, we'll give you a bonus. If you play in this league, you can buy a house. Clark might buy the neighborhood without them. She may make decisions based only on her preferences rather than her needs, since she is financially independent. Furthermore, it seems that she currently desires independence from the system. For a more nefarious and personal motive, Clark could be declining these chances to play year-round. Her first year was awful. We're talking about more than just the move to the professional ranks. We are talking about the physical mistreatment she endured. From Kennedy Carter's blindside hip check to the Chicago Sky's and Angel Ree's constant hostility, Clark endured a lot of hardship during the season. Commissioner Engelbert and the authorities mostly disregarded fan and analyst demands that the league intervene to safeguard their most precious asset, referring to it as welcome to the league moments. The lack of suspensions or more severe penalties for non-basket plays sent a clear message to Clark. You're by yourself. Then why would she sign up for more? Why would she join the unmatched league or commit to any other off-season activities where she would encounter the same players who have been after her for months? By declining the offer, Clark is prioritizing her bodily survival. She is giving her body time to heal after playing more minutes and suffering more hits than almost anybody else during the season. It's an implicit criticism of the league's failure to protect her. If the WNBA is unable to protect her, she will remain at home. This failed suggestion is undoubtedly having an impact on the league's locker rooms, adding fuel to an already unmanageable inferno. Imagine being an accomplished athlete who has led the league for 10 years, won championships, and been named MVP, but has never gotten a check for more than $250,000. Then a newbie walks in and calmly turns down millions of dollars. Resentment and respect are strangely combined. Throughout the season, Clark has been the target of accusations from veterans who feel she hasn't paid her fair share. If she turns down the unequaled money that two of her colleagues, Stewart and Keir, are providing, it may be seen as a sign of disunity. The other players want this league to succeed since it raises their compensation. If Clark doesn't play, the league loses money, which reduces the other players' salaries. Clark is inadvertently depriving her rivals of money by declining to take part. As a result, the on-court product becomes even more strained. It's a vicious circle. The veterans targeted her because of the attention she attracted. Because of the targeting, which costs them money and heightens hostility, she is now abandoning their endeavors. Because he can see the poison developing, the commissioner knows it is a ticking time bomb for the league's reputation. This raises an awful notion for the WNBA's future. Abandoning up in silence. Simply following your job description is known as quiet quitting in the corporate world. No going above and above or putting in extra hours at work. In the WNBA, Caitlin Clark appears to be utilizing this. She shows up. She contributes 10 assists and scores 20 points. She leaves after making the necessary media appearances. By declining the more contracts, the thrill of the off-season, and the greater duties, she is establishing a clear boundary. This worries the WNBA since its revenue model depends on players becoming advocates. Gamers have to keep promoting the game because of the historically low marketing budget. Clark doesn't have to evangelize. She is the gospel. It's a power move to quit in secret. As a consequence, the league is forced to contact her. If they want her to perform more, they must provide more than just money. Better conditions for travel, perhaps. Charter flights were a significant source of contention. Better security or officiating. By being quiet and failing to appear, she is negotiating. She is putting pressure on the league to modernize all of its infrastructure, including music, in order to keep its celebrities engaged. Let's take a closer look at the current scenario because it is a perfect microcosm of the larger problem. The league was founded by Breanna Stewart and Nafisa Collier to address the foreign problem. With promises of substantial remuneration, they drew in investors. It's plausible, though, that every investor in Unrivaled believed Caitlin Clark would serve as the company's spokesman. By declining that offer, Clark is diminishing the value of the new league in addition to rejecting basketball. As a result, Stewart and Collier find themselves in a challenging predicament. They could have to launch their company without the primary draw of the sport. This humiliates the establishment stars who thought they could simply contact Clark and she would appear. This refusal also highlights the musical distinctions between the Yukon John Legacy Group and Clark's New Wave. She is not a member of their organization. She didn't go to Yukon. She does not belong to the family. Because she maintains her individuality and remains an outsider, she is unpredictable. The WNBA despises unpredictability. They want a tale that is under control. Clark is refusing to follow the plan. It is also impossible to ignore the context of Kathy Angelbert's recent public blunders. Her awful CNBC interview, in which she neglected to condemn the bigotry and hate speech directed against Clark, alienated a sizable portion of the fan base. Clark was probably uncomfortable too. Imagine your employer making an appearance on national television and refusing to defend you against hate speech because she wants to keep the narrative of competition intact to boost viewing. At that moment, the trust was destroyed. Why would Clark assist the commissioner? Why would she accept contracts that benefit the league's partners when the league's leadership views her as nothing more than a gear in the revenue engine? One may argue that this lack of leadership directly led to the $20 million deal's rejection. It's a vote of no confidence. Clark is managing her own career since it has become painfully obvious that the commissioner is too focused on increasing the pie to care about the ingredients. There are others who contend that Clark is making a mistake. You must strike while the iron is hot, they will tell you. But it seems that Clark's team is more knowledgeable than the WNBA. There is such a thing as burnout. In other sports, young players who were pushed too hard and too fast have burnt out. By turning down the money to unwind, Clark is investing in her long life. She wants to play for 15 years instead of 5. Because of the WNBA schedule and the current NCAA tournament run, she has been playing high-intensity basketball non-stop for the past 18 months. Her legs are exhausted. She is psychologically worn out. The league's furious reaction is inappropriate. They want her to play right away so they can make quick money. Clark is playing the long game. She knows that if she is wounded in a meaningless 3-on-3 game in January, she will lose more than a season. She has lost her course. She is protecting the asset even though the league is disappointed that they are unable to capitalize on this opportunity. What does this now imply for us? While the commissioner is enraged, the investors are sweating, and the veterans are scoffing, Caitlin Clark remains calm. This deadlock is the main storyline of the off-season. It proves that WNBA players are no longer used as pawns. The league cannot use financial support to address the problem. It is necessary to change the culture. Media toxicity, music, travel issues, and physical targeting all need to be addressed. Instead of being viewed as a cash cow, Clark has to be regarded as a partner. She has a $28 million incentive to remain at home and work on her step-back three in a private gym until they succeed. The rejection of the $20 million contract is not the end of the story. In this new phase, skill is the leverage. And for a league that has been established in its ways for 20, 80, and 48 years, that is a dreadful, furious reality to wake up to. In the end, this situation reveals a harsh truth about the WNBA. They were unprepared for Caitlin Clark. The concentration caught them off guard. The hostility caught them off guard. They were also unprepared for a newbie who didn't need their money. Commissioner Angelbert is allowed to express her anger to the fullest. She can hold meetings, make calls to sponsors, and become nervous about quarterly projections. She cannot, however, force Caitlin Clark to sign the agreement. For the first time in league history, the biggest star exceeds the shield. Clark has exposed the cracks in the foundation just by staying still. She turned down $20 million in order to buy herself something priceless: freedom. For this reason, the WNBA is terrified. A player that you are unable to buy cannot be controlled. If they can't control Caitlin Clark, they have to wonder what she will do next. You may anticipate that everyone will be monitoring whether or not the commissioner approves of it.